And good morning at 7:04 on this Wednesday, January 22nd. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello everybody and welcome. We're here, you're there, that's great. We're ready to get started here, Coleman and Company, on a cold Wednesday morning. We've got Bob McDonald on the phone this morning, and he's all ready to talk about Cedarstone Bank of Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson, Simple Banking, Simply Better. Bob, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman, and it's great to be with you, and thank you for letting me dial in. I told you at the start of the year I'm going to do better at being there live and in person with you in Studio B, but I do have some conflicts coming up the next couple of weeks, some early morning meetings, so I need to dial in today and probably next week also.
Well, that's just fine. I think we do an equally good job, whether you're in studio or on the phone. We've done it so many times, so many years, and talk about Cedarstone Bank. You've kept the same slogan, which I like and like to use: simple banking, simply better.
Well, it is a great slogan. We've had that slogan we'll be open 21 years this coming April, Coleman, and we've had that slogan ever since. And it's still meaningful and important to us. You know, when we started the bank, we saw that that banking can be complicated at times, but the solutions to complicated financial situations does not have to be complicated. So we've remained true to that concept and to that vision, and so that's why I appreciate your saying that every Wednesday when I'm with you.
Well, even though times have changed and the way we do things are somewhat more complicated, it is so great to be able to have an account at Cedarstone and to be able to get on the internet and check your balance every day if you want to and see where you are. Bank, you don't have to come in, although I love to see your people, but it does save a little time to be able to do what you can on the internet. And a lot of people have gone to that, no doubt.
Well, they have, and that we like to say that you can do your banking any way that you choose with us at Cedarstone Bank, Coleman. If you want to come in and see our folks and write checks and make deposits and withdraw money from your account, you can do that. Or if you prefer to use technology, then we've got the best technology and electronics, and you can do your banking online. You can do it by telephone. You can move money around from account to account. We hear all the time how easy our online banking services is to utilize. So we encourage your folks who don't currently bank with us to come in and let us talk about the different options, different ways that you can do your banking.
Yeah, I think people ought to try it. They'll like it. What else is going on? It's the start of a new year, of course, and I know that you got plans in high gear already. Well,
we do. We had our monthly board of directors meeting yesterday, Coleman. We meet every third Tuesday at 3 o'clock. And so we spent some time reviewing our accomplishments of 2024, and we had many. We talked about all the different ways that we support the communities that we serve in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and in Donaldson. We looked at how we updated some of our technology. We looked at of course, our financial results, which we're very pleased with, and then we also took another look at what our expectations are for 2025. So we're expecting another busy and active year this year, Coleman.
Yeah, lend more money, open up more savings account, open up more free checking accounts. That's at least part of the name of the game.
That's what it's all about, and so we're very optimistic about the new year and looking forward to serving.
Well, you do have your big overcoat with you this morning, don't you?
I do indeed. I've got my big overcoat. It's a good day to have that, and I'm glad I've got it, because on days like this, I need my Russian overcoat.
Yeah. Well, what about your banking hours, regular hours today?
Yes, sir. We do. We do have regular hours, and we don't the only time we're going to adjust those hours is when weather conditions dictate that. We had some altered hours a couple of weeks ago when we had the snow come in. So we put the safety of our employees and our customers first. But this time of year we keep a close eye on the weather so we know if we need to modify our hours. And when we do, Coleman, we make sure that we have signage at our locations. We make sure that we have that message on our phones, and we make sure that we have that message on our social media outlets.
All right, we got just time to just quickly talk about free checking for a moment, and then we'll call it a day for you.
All right. Well, thank you. And we do have our Simply Free checking, and it is that. It's free in every way. As we talked earlier, if you want to write checks, you can do that. We give you the checks, and if you want to do your banking online, we provide that free also. So for your listeners who don't currently bank with us, it'd be our pleasure and honor to visit and talk about how we might be of service.
All right. Thanks for being with us. Have a great one. We'll do it again next Wednesday.
Thank you, my friend.
All right. Bob McDonald, President, CEO, Cedarstone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson. Simple banking, simply better. All right. We'll hang up with Bob and go to our microphone here. He is to my right this morning, as per usual, but 30 minutes early. Mike Jennings, our county attorney, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman. 30 minutes early, a different day.
That's right. Well, we could explain quickly here. The county commission decided to, rather than meet a week later in January and February because of Martin Luther King Day and President's Day, instead of the following Monday, the next day, Tuesday, which was last night, you had a meeting, and you're here to talk about that. And
That's correct.
It'll be the same way in February.
In February.
Got you scheduled for the Wednesday morning after the meeting.
All right, and I'll get that on my calendar.
And
when
by
I
the
get back in
way,
office.
Mayor Hutto and I got to talking quite a bit about Jim Major, Buckwheat, who is going to go out of office early. We talked more about that yesterday. He didn't tell us as much about the meeting last night as he usually did, as we ran out of time. So we've got plenty to cover this morning, I guess.
Okay. Well, we'll do it. It was a typical, I would say, January meeting. Not a lot of activity, but what we did was, of course, pretty important to the departments that needed the resolutions done. We had quite a few presentations last night. It was our regular night, once a quarter, where we get more than our normal reports. We get 5 or 6 different more reports. And then we had a lot of people talk last night under the mayor's part of communications from the chair. We heard we heard a presentation from Middle Tennessee Electric, Vanderbilt Wilson Hospital. Wrote it down here. Brent Adcock from DTC, who I've known since he was a boy. Good man. He told us about what DTC did with their ARP money that the county distributed to them, and then a gentleman from United Communications, William, I can't read my writing, I think it's William Bradford, and there was a lot of information given out last night. Middle Tennessee Electric told us last night that they had this cold weather covered. They felt confident with it, but they did say it would be helpful if people between 5 a.m. and about 10 a.m. didn't do things like the dishwasher or the dryer or that type of things that could be done later in the day when the peak volume fell. But to my knowledge, everything went good last night. I stayed warm and trust everybody else did. So appreciate them. Do a great job, of course.
And as far as we can tell from the weather forecast, the worst is over, or will be in an hour or two.
Yeah.
In somewhere 5 or 6 degrees, probably the low here, which is pretty cold. But
very cold.
We've made it through another one. We'll probably have some more. It'll be below 10 degrees before winter's over, but maybe we're going to have a little break here for maybe up to a week, I think.
You know, I mentioned to Commissioner Bobby Franklin on the way in last night. We were talking about how cold it was, and we were both moving a little quicker than our age would allow us because we wanted to get in the heat. But I said, Bobby, the next time we meet, it could be 70 degrees. You know, when you get into February, they start playing a little baseball, and you have warm spells, and you have cold spells that feel a lot colder than they are because you've had the warm spells. So we're about to get through January, and that'll be a blessing.
All right, I think now would be a good time to take a break. It's about that time, and Mike Jennings is here, as we explained earlier. A day later and a half hour earlier, and it'll be the same way in February, so don't forget. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota. Write it off the lot. Write it off your taxes. Visit Absolute Kubota. Take advantage of the Section 179 tax deduction when you buy new Kubota construction equipment, tractors, RTVs, hay tools, or turf products. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. In Robertson County, they're working a wreck on the Interstate 24 eastbound at the 24-mile marker. That's right there in Pleasant View. Again, it's got traffic slow for those folks coming in from Clarksville, trying to get through Pleasant View and Robertson County right now. Give yourself extra time. Again, leaving Montgomery County, Clarksville, headed towards Nashville because of that wreck. It's building pretty good, 24 up through the Antioch area. Princess Hot Chicken has that live entertainment tonight from 6 to 9. Check out the details at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
Cumberland Phoenix Baseball is back in action and chasing another Mid-South Conference championship with a big 50-game schedule, including a whopping 35 home games. That gives Phoenix fans plenty of chances to catch a game or two at Woody Hunt Stadium, also known as the Six, where all U.S. military veterans get in free. You can hear every game on these radio stations or on GoCumberlandAthletics.com. The season starts on Saturday, February 1st and Sunday, February 2nd. We'll see you at the Six.
We continue here on this Wednesday morning, County Attorney Mike Jennings. Now, Mike, we haven't talked any sports this morning.
I know. I thought maybe that was your New Year's resolution.
Well, not when Vanderbilt beats Tennessee twice in one weekend.
I wondered when that was coming.
Well, it's coming right now. The men were ahead. Boys were ahead 6 or 8, I forget, points with 3.5 minutes or so to go. Never scored another point, but held on to win 76-75.
And Tennessee missed a free throw. It would have tied it and sent it into overtime. Right. I didn't get to see the game. I was on the road and didn't get to see Sunday's game, but I understand our women got the same result. They lost by a point.
I think that one was 75-74.
Yeah.
And they were playing in Nashville. And I don't know whether there was any home cooking there or not. Sometimes there is, just like sometimes there is in Knoxville.
Nah.
Yeah.
Memorial Magic, you always got to look out for. But when you fall into as deep a hole as the men did, apparently, you do that to yourself.
Yeah.
You can't play like that on the road.
Yeah.
We played well at home last night. Tennessee did, and won big over a number 14 team, and we're undefeated at home, but apparently we have some struggles on the road.
Well, Vanderbilt played at Alabama last night, and for me the result wasn't good.
No,
Alabama's pretty good.
Yeah, if you play Alabama, it's a track meet. They score 100 points just about every game.
All right, back to last night's meeting, and I think you and I could talk for just a minute about Jim Buckwheat Major, our trustee. He's has decided that he doesn't feel that he should finish this term, and next month there will be the county commission will find somebody to replace him.
That's true, and there were already some people up there last night making the rounds with county commissioners, and but I want to say something in praise of Jim Major, and I've known him like you as Buckwheat all his life. Played ball against him years ago, and softball, and good man, done a good job, and I know he hated to do this, but he felt like it was in his best interest and what he needed to do, and mentioned it to me the other day on the elevator on the way up to the second floor, and I said, well, Jim, will at your announcement, I won't tell a soul. And he said, I'd appreciate it. And by that time that afternoon, I'd heard from 4 people that knew about it. So I kept my word, but it got out pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I appreciate him. Wish him well.
Mayor Hutto and I kind of went over the process yesterday, but it's pretty well spelled out how you do this. And I believe he did say that a county commissioner has to officially nominate somebody to be in the running for this, which will take place at that February meeting.
That they do, and the person who is nominated, whether it be 1 or 4 or 10, each one of them has to say they're willing to accept the job before they officially get put into nomination. So that'll be interesting. That's a job that's very busy 3 or 4 months of the year, and I know they're busy all the time. I don't mean to imply that, but of course they're slammed basically in December and February when people are paying their property taxes. But Jim's done a good job.
Okay, what else we need to talk about from last night?
Well, we had several resolutions last night. We'll mention that we started off by every January we're required to classify the roads, and we did that and approve. We call it approving the county road list. The statute says we're classifying the roads. And we did that last night. Has to be done every January. Roads are classified into 4 categories, and it's basically by width.
Okay.
But we, I think I heard the road superintendent say last night that we added 4 miles over the last year, so we're up to about 857 miles in the county. And as the mayor is fond to say, that's one way. Same 857 coming back. So. So we got that done last night. At the end of the meeting, Commissioner Lauren Breeze and Commissioner Wendell Marlowe sponsored a resolution, a last-minute resolution because of the timing, opposing the Governor's Education Voucher Act. And the reason I say it was last minute was because they just announced that they were going to do a special session starting Monday. Our packet was already out, so we couldn't put anything in the packet. So we brought that last night, suspended the rules, and that carried unanimously, as it did a year ago. And I know that there will be the same thing presented to the Board of Education Thursday night.
All 25 commissioners voted to oppose that?
Well, there was only 21 there last night.
Okay.
We had one gentleman, one commissioner, who asked some questions about it and even said, I don't think I can support something or oppose something till I know exactly what it is. But when we did the vote, everybody sounded like everybody voted aye, and when he said anybody opposed, nobody said anything. So it goes down as unanimous. But we had 4 commissioners out last night, like probably every employment around. We had commissioners that were sick, and one that was a very serious family member situation, Brother Glenn Denton, and we've got him in our prayers. His father, as I understand, was pretty sick yesterday, so hadn't heard anything this morning. But we had 4 members out last night, and all 4 of those members, I know them, they'd have been there if they could.
Yeah.
And
well, this is I don't know whether to use the word unusual, but it's kind of rare, I think, that you have the government body like this to come out and totally 100% oppose something that the governor has. I mean, usually you don't find that much consent one way or the other.
Yeah.
Or opposition one way or the other, however you want to say that.
It is, and I think the fear of the unknown, what is it about the camel when he gets his nose inside the tent to start with, and the fear is everybody says, well, it won't be so bad the first year, but where does it go from then after that? And eventually then, if money is taken away from public education, it's got to be replaced, and the only place to replace that only is from the property taxpayers.
Well, in the wording of this, the opposition, does it address our senator or members of the House?
It was just a resolution I assume they'll send to our 3, or actually 4 that cover a portion of Wilson County, and then I'm assuming they'll send it to the governor's office as well. I think that's what we did last year. I don't do that. That's done out of another office. But there's there's some real concern about it. I think legitimate concern.
Yeah.
As you say, if there wasn't, most people will go along with what the governor wants or their legislators or whatever. But this one, it's been consistent from the time it was initially proposed last year in opposition, and they're opposing it pretty much statewide.
Well, it was suggested to me, and I kind of felt like what's probably true, that if they're calling a special session to do this, they already have the votes to have it passed. And I mentioned this to Representative Lynn yesterday, and she wasn't convinced that it was at all. And then the county commission comes up and totally opposes it. There might be a big I don't know how long this session's going to be, but it may be a long drawn out thing, or it could even get voted down in a hurry from what I'm hearing here.
Well, and I think your thinking on that is certainly the way I think. When you call something, it's kind of like putting your name in nomination for something at the county commission. You need to know you got the votes. And I think your thinking is that I wonder if the votes are not there. But my understanding is, and I don't know the rules down there, but my understanding is a special session has to last a minimum of 3 days. But there's been some that have gone on for weeks, so it'll be interesting. And they've got other issues that about hurricane relief for the upper East Tennessee area, and then immigration.
Yeah.
And some want to hook, as I understand it, some want to hook all those together, some want to vote on them separately, and that in itself could be divisive.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of just me personally attaching the hurricane relief to this. If the hurricane's been now about 4 months ago.
Well,
they needed the relief.
Totally different thing.
Yeah, and they needed the relief the day after it happened.
I don't see why there would need to be an awful lot of discussion on that. If we can afford, we need to help those people.
And should have already done it. That's my point. So, but I got all I can do in my job, so I better get out of everybody
We
else.
got about 3.5 minutes, Mike. If we left out anything or anything else you want to talk more about.
Well, we just did some things last night, gave the Sheriff's Department a little extra money for some jail overtime, having some staffing shortages there. $190,000 grant we received for WEMA was going to give them something that goes into every station, and I'm having a senior moment here, but it didn't cost county taxpayers anything. It was a 100% grant. And an education amendment and different things like that. We did vote to dissolve the Public Building Authority that we put in effect about 20 years ago when we started building schools a different way, maybe close to 30 years now. But we hadn't used it in a long time, and the comptroller's office said, y'all either use it or take it off the books. So we did that last night. And always interested to hear Jeff Luttrell talk about our student population, and we are at 20,732, up 320 over last year.
Just keep growing.
It just keeps growing.
Yeah.
And we're in the process of building 2 elementary schools, and we know it's not going to be the last.
Yeah. So. Well, what's happening in Watertown? We got 2 minutes now.
Well, we would have had our meeting last night, but of course I had to do my job first, so we moved our meeting to tomorrow night. And we're still we're beginning to deal with issues of growth, Coleman, and we're going to do some discussion tomorrow night about we don't have a lot of zoning or building code type things where people are required to do certain things. We have zoning, but we've got to do that. We're beginning to work to upgrade our water and sewer revenues as people are as more and more people are coming on. We are having some growth up there, and it's different, and so we're dealing with that, and just a lot of different odds and ends thing. Really.
Your business district growing any?
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and people have made a commitment there, and they're doing a good job. Our sales tax continues to increase as it does across the county, and so we appreciate all our business people. And they're so active in our community, sponsoring ball teams and sponsoring events and stuff like that. I always encourage people, if you can shop in Watertown, go do it. because these people have made a commitment to Watertown.
Do you see maybe a big growth spurt for your area here in the next 2 or 3 years even?
Maybe not in the next 2 or 3 years, in the next 5 to 10.
Yeah.
It's coming. We're seeing it now. We did some zoning for development of 60-something units last month. Now, what we used to do was somebody dividing their property into a separate lot where the child could build there or whatever. Now we're having 10, 15, 20 unit developments of 64. That's 2 streets in Watertown. And that's different for us. And people at Lebanon Mount Jude laugh about that when they're doing 300, 400, and 5. They can have those 3, 4, and 5. I'm glad they've got it. 64 presents enough of a challenge for us.
Well, any turntable news before we let you go?
We're on it. We're planning and having a meeting soon with the federal government about what they're going to expect and the hoops we need to jump through. So it's ongoing and will be next 2 or 3 years.
And for those who haven't heard, that has to do with an old railroad engine and a turntable where it can turn around and people come and watch that.
That's right.
And spend some money while they're there.
And drop money, and we love to have them in Watertown, but go home and come back the next day and spend some more money.
Mike, thanks so much, and we'll remind everybody again, the County Commission meeting in February will be on the Tuesday night after President's Day, and you'll be back on the following Wednesday. And then after that, we'll get back to normal for the rest of the year, as far as we know.
I can sleep in after that, right? Another 30 minutes.
There you go. Well, thanks for being with us today.
Yes,
Mike
sir.
Jennings, our County Attorney, Mayor of Watertown. That's part 1 of Coleman and Company. We've got more. Hope you'll keep it right here, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways thanks to Bates Ford. Low price tire guarantee on all tires every day up to 30 days after the sale. There'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. They're on the scene of this accident here in Brentwood, Williamson County, 65 northbound. It's right near OHB, slowing down that traffic now between Concord Road and OHB on 65 northbound. One car wreck, 24 eastbound. That's going to be right past Briley Parkway. It's been busy this morning in that area there of Antioch, and also trying to clear up that wreck, 24 eastbound and Pleasant View. That slowed down that traffic through Robertson County. That's affected all that traffic on 24 east coming in from Clarksville through that section of Robertson County this morning, headed towards Nashville. Princess Hot Chicken has live entertainment tonight. Check out the details, princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hey, this is Dr. Derek Gregory, and I'm proud to announce to you the opening of our brand new dental practice, Gregory Dental Group, at 1746 West Main Street, just across the road from Sports Village. Come experience modern dentistry at its best. We're always welcoming new patients, and I truly look forward to taking the best care of all your dental needs. Come by or call us today.
That's Gregory Dental Group, 615-444-0322, or online at myLebanonTNDentist.com. Gregory Dental Group, compassion, knowledge, skill.
We'll have mostly sunny skies, a little bit warmer today. Highs back in the lower 30s. Partly cloudy tonight, lows around 20, and even warmer for our Thursday. Partly cloudy, highs around 40. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your severe view forecast, I'm Storm Specialist Drew Richards.
Oh, well, we welcome you to part 2 of Coleman and Company here on this Wednesday morning. We welcome Mayor Rick Bell of the City of Lebanon. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It's not often to have 2 mayors back to back, but it happened today, and it'll happen again in February.
I kind of like that opening act.
I guess you're after him. I have to look, because the way the calendar falls, it may not be. But anyway, yeah, no, we're not going to let you off the hook either. Being the big UT fan you are, I've got to gloat while I can. Vanderbilt took not 1 but 2 over the weekend. Of course, they lost to Alabama last night.
Well, I thought you might have got that out of your system in the last segment, but apparently you didn't.
Well, at least I got to mention it. But I don't keep up with the women that much, to be honest. We know the history of the Tennessee women. They've had some great great some championship years under Pat Head Summit and so on. It's fallen off maybe a little bit, but y'all are doing well. Vanderbilt's doing better and managed to win by 1 point over the weekend.
That's true. The Lady Vols they're going through what other teams have gone through. When Barry Bryant left Alabama, they struggled for a while, and when you have a dominant, great coach like that, it's tough to recover.
When General Nealon left back in the '60s, the football had a little problem.
Yeah, they did. You're not kidding, and that happens when you have somebody that's that good. But this new coach, I think she's doing well. She's hit the ground running. But this new Vanderbilt men's basketball coach, he must be pretty good.
Yeah, so far so good, I guess. But they got a rough road to hold right now. They're playing some of the top teams in the conference, and one of them was last night. They do well to win one out of the next 3 or 4 probably.
Well, and a big key to basketball, it always has been, is playing at home.
Yeah,
it's just tough to win on the road, and as Mayor Jennings said, the previous meeting, that Memorial Magic kicked in the other day. So maybe that's come back a little bit.
Well, I guess we could talk for a second here about the cold weather and all that. And let me say, I don't know that I've had the opportunity to say much about this, but when it snowed the last time, where we had the 6 inches of snow, I thought we did an exceptional job here in all of Wilson County, really, but especially in the city of Lebanon. The roads were just really taken care of well.
Yeah, the team did a great job. That's under Jeff Baines' department, and Lee Clark. He runs all that, and they were out there a couple days early. The forecast was there. We knew what was coming. They got there and brined the streets, even got to brine the sidewalks early. And I think they help a lot. And also, as soon as it started, they had the trucks out there with the scrapers getting off the road, and I'm so thankful for all the work they did, because Coleman, you can't imagine how many calls and messages I got about how great a job they did from all over town.
Well, I'm glad to hear that too.
And on the Monday after that, Mike Kurtz with the Lebanon Special School District, he texted me specifically to say that we're the reason they were able to go to school that day. Now I know a lot of students, a lot of teachers might not have been happy about that, but that was really something, because it snowed quite a bit, and but they had help from the weather. It didn't get super cold like it is now, and so that helps out a lot, helps the snow melt. But they did an awesome job, and I appreciate everyone who has recognized that.
Well, I just think it's great that we can, right here on this radio station, thank them again and let them know how much we appreciate their efforts. I mean, it's their job, but they're doing it well.
They do, and at a time when we're telling people to stay home, they're out there working. Mm-hmm. Police is out there working, fire's out there working, and they don't get to stay home, and so it's a tough job, and they're out there doing it. And also, while we're talking about this, I want to thank MJ for letting me come on during her time and talk to her a little bit about what was going on out there to inform people too. So it's a team effort, but everybody really did a great job on that one.
Well, we get by to this morning. It's the weather advisory till 7 or 8 o'clock. I think it's supposed to warm up considerably today, according to the forecast.
I think so.
Not be near as cold tonight, and so we've. I don't know that we've dodged a bullet necessarily, but we have weathered the storm, and I think fairly well. And I think it's a good idea, really, to let the school children start 2 hours later today and not have to, maybe not as cold when they're waiting for the bus as it would have been 2 hours
I think that's a great idea. This morning it's cold. Yeah. It's really cold, and I'll say this too. We're and we're lucky we didn't get precipitation. People to the south of us are getting a lot of snow, and I can tell you, Coleman, if precipitation had to come with this, it would have been a lot tougher on us to get the roads clear and things like that, because that deep freeze really hurts.
Well, I remember when I guess I was in the 5th grade and 11 years old. It would have been 51, I believe, we had a terrible storm around the 1st of February, and it, like you're talking about, but it turned. We had it came in. It was sleet and freezing rain and sleet, and it got on the utility lines, and some of them broke, and we were out of electricity, and the roads. And it got so cold, and we were out of school for 2 or 3 weeks.
That happened to us when I was in elementary school. I went to McLean School down on Main Street, and we were out of school the entire month of January. And that year, it was cold that year. Oh, happy birthday, by the way, belated birthday. I just learned you had a birthday recently, so I think that makes you just a bit older than my mom now. So
for a few months,
yeah.
Oh, well, what happened at the meeting last night?
Actually, our meeting was very short last night. The agenda wasn't very long. Didn't have much crowd there last night, as you might imagine, with the weather like it is, and most of the things we voted on were internal issues. They did approve some new guidelines in the historic district as far as people who live and have businesses in that area. Trying to clean that up a little bit, so that passed last night. A couple announcements I did make that I do want to mention on the radio here is that we got a grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation, Safe Streets for All, to study our streets all over the city to make them safer. And we do have a survey about that. We need to hear from people. So if you go to our website or go to our social media pages, you'll be able to click on a link for a survey. It's very short. I took it. But also there's a map attached to it where you can go to different parts of the city and place icons, and you can type messages. Okay, this is what you see at this location. You think this is a problem here. And so there's a survey and there's a map that you can go to, but we need feedback that helps us out. Obviously, Coleman, as I tell you, we study it all the time, but to hear from the citizens is really important, what they see every day. So please go and do that survey. Again, it's on our website. It's on our social media pages, and that'll be available to the end of the month to be able to take that survey. So please do that. And then another one, too, that I think is important. Every budget year, we have a line item where we give money to local nonprofits. And as there's a limit to the money we give, we top it out at $5,000 each. But if you want to apply to get that money, go to our website, and it'll tell you how to do it, what to turn in. So if you're a nonprofit, a 501c3, go there, give us your documentation, and we will put you in line to be as part of that line item. The deadline on that is March 31st. So if you get your information to us on March 31st, but before that, if you have questions, just call my office, or you can call Stuart Lawson. He's our Commissioner of Finance. Any of the city councilors, they can help you as well. But if you have a nonprofit, just reach out to us, and we'll see if we can help you out.
All right. Well, I got a question. You said the maximum was $5,000. That's per entity.
Per entity.
What is the over? Do you have an overall maximum necessarily?
So the last year that line item was around $70,000, and so everyone who asked for money were able to fit in. We'll just have to look at the budget this time. Every year it changes. And every year we sort of push it up a little bit, if we can, and so we can fit as many people in as possible. But we do put a max on it. We feel that's fair, so if you have a request, tell us what you want to spend the money on, and request what you want, what you like. But there is a max on that. But we typically look at the applicants and see. And try to fit everybody in as much as we can.
But it is a way for some nonprofits to do a little better, maybe even some of them to exist.
Yeah, and we want to help. Nonprofits help out a lot, and we have a lot of them here, and and they do great work in all kinds of different ways, and there are people who apply that I don't really know much about, and it's good to learn about them and to be introduced to them. So please apply if you can.
All right, what's next on your list? One of the things to say about Mayor Bell, he always brings a list. I can't read it. It's backwards, and it doesn't look too detailed, but you've got it down.
Well, I can't give you a preview, Coleman. I have to be able to look at it myself. But one more thing last night before we go to break, we did on Second Reading last night approve new rules on construction as far as times they can start and stop. One of the things that we've heard from, especially the newer neighborhoods throughout the city, is that, Coleman, subdivisions are built in phases.
Right.
And so the people who move in first, there's still construction going on behind them. And we've discovered that we've always had time limit that said you can't start until a certain time. And we've heard that people are starting early before that, and it's pretty early in the morning. So we sort of bumped up our regulations on that, our enforcement on that, so we can really get out there and tell contractors and stuff, hey, okay, we have a time, you can't start till that time. And so
what is that time?
It's 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Is when they can start. And sometimes, especially like not right now, but when it's warmer and the days get longer, they like to start at 6. And but 7 is the time. So we want to make sure we keep a good handle on that, as those neighbors around them, they can, that morning time they can get ready to go to work themselves. So that's something, again.
You have a number of complaints?
Actually, we do. Yeah. We do. And it's from all over the city, not just one neighborhood that we hear this issue's going on. And I understand, people want to get to work and get it done. But hey, there is a time you can start, and after that, hey, you're full go. But you need to follow the rules, and so we created some things last night where we can really enforce that.
Like,
well, we can get some people out there to.
Well, is this the police? You got a separate group?
No, it's sort of a mixture. It's codes. Police are a little bit in with the codes department. Our building inspection department are part of it too, because they go out and see what's going on as well. So it's sort of a team effort as to who checks on that. But really, we need to make sure that people are following the rules, and we're going to make that happen.
Okay. Time for us to take a break. Lebanon Mayor Rick Bell is here. We've got more to talk about after this break here on Coleman Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota. Ride it off the lot. Ride it off the taxes. Visit Absolute Kubota. Take advantage of the Section 179 tax deduction when you buy new Kubota construction equipment, tractors, RTVs, hay tools, or turf products. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's moving a little bit better up through the Brentwood area from that earlier collision where actually a car went down into a ditch on 65 northbound near OHB. It's already heavy up through that section of Williamson County. Trying to clear up that wreck on 24 eastbound in Robertson County around Pleasant View. That slowed down that traffic coming in from Clarksville through that section of Pleasant View there on 24 going eastbound. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken has live entertainment tonight from 6 to 9. Check it out at PrincessHotChicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Simple banking, simply better. Since 2004, that's been our motto at Cedar Stone Bank. I'm Bob McDonald. We know that financial decisions can sometimes be complicated, but that doesn't mean solutions have to be. Whether you're buying a new home, renovating your existing home, or buying a car, or maybe you're a business that needs to purchase equipment for the building you operate from, we have all the technology that will allow you to do your banking online or on the telephone, or you can come in one of our beautiful branches and see our great people. With locations in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Nashville, Cedar Stone Bank. Simple banking, simply better.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
1.5 seconds left, no timeouts. Here's your season. Negron gives it to Bird. Bird for the win. It's gone! He got it! College Hoops is back, and so is Cumberland University on the radio. Join me, John Boyce, in the booth for every Mid-South Conference game this regular and postseason for both men's and women's Phoenix basketball. Conference games are every Thursday starting at 5:30 and every Saturday starting at 1 o'clock. Phoenix basketball is right here on 98.9. Cumberland's a winner.
We continue here, our final segment on a Wednesday. Lebanon Mayor Rick Bell is with us. We've talked about several things already, but we've got more to go. What's next on your list?
Well, next thing, Coleman, is really something that I introduced to City Council last week. and it hadn't come up for a vote yet. But I just wanted to tell your listeners about it. One of the things that myself and the council too has really focused on for the past 4 years is increase our standards in different ways, and we've put almost 36 new regulations on developers. That's increasing standards, and we brought in bring in new restaurants and stores and things like that to increase our standards. And another way we can do that, I believe, is through beautification. And so, I've seen things in other cities around the country that, I've got to where now when I travel, I look for stuff when I go to cities. What are they doing that maybe we could do? And I picked up some ideas. So I asked Lee Clark and Kristen Rice to work on a proposal to present to City Council last week. And so there's some different ideas of how we can beautify our city and really raise the standards of the area. And I'm talking about like public spaces, what we can do as a city for us. And there's different aspects of this. And frankly, some of them are not as expensive as others. One of the things I would like to do is in our historic district, put up some more decorative street signs to let people know you're in a historic district now. You see that a lot of places. And there's some other ideas about around the city, making sure our street signs look better or uniform. They're sort of scattered out now as far as how they look, and I think that's not good. But really, I think there's a couple of big things that are important about this I want to mention concerning beautification. One of those is the square. Mm-hmm. And our square is very dynamic now with the investment that's there, a lot of stores and restaurants, and but as people walk around the square, I don't see anywhere where people can really sit and maybe take their lunch, eat outside, when it's pretty and things like that. The only green space we have in the square really that people can do that with is in the middle of it, and you can't get to that. So as everyone knows, over in the in the northeast corner, there, right there next to Burger King, we have the cabin there, mm-hmm. and that's sort of a green space. And when that cabin was put up there, that was a time when the city was, our square, it had a lot of antique malls and things like that, so that really fit. And through the years, the cabin has been there for a long time. And Frankie Coleman, I present to the council, I would like to do something different with that area. And so we got a concept and present to council, and again, this has to be bid out for design, so there's different things to go through. But I would like to see that cabin moved and open up that space for a place where we can put some tables where people can hang out, have a place where families go to, kids can play, and really open it up to a place that is more active and where people can really go there. And also it's a place.
Is there enough space to?
There is. And I can't quote how much space is there right now, but there is. And also, one of the things we've done too is we want to set up as a place where, Coleman, when we go down to the square and have events such as Rock the Block, we have to set up our stage. We block parking, which is at a premium on the square. As we do this, we can set up to where we can put the stage in that area, and we don't have to block parking to set it up, and then the events can be held there in that area. And I
didn't realize that was that big. But
yeah,
that cabin takes up a little space.
Well,
there
it sits in the middle, and the cabin's not that big. But but once you look at it from a sky view, it's a pretty big space there. Now, if you have an event, now people are probably during the event. Now you'll have stuff in that quad, for food trucks and things like that. But it'll include some works on the sidewalks over there as well. And I'm a city historian too, and so history is important to me. But I've talked to Phillips Grove to see if they would like the cabin, and they're going to look at it. But I just feel like that going to the future, the square represents our past, obviously. We're going to put a marker there to mark where the spring is. But also the square is sort of our future as well. And I want to be a place where people can enjoy, and I think this is the way to do it. And at the work session of the council, I think they're very positive about it. And, and so we're going to move forward with some plans. But that's just one of the ideas I have.
All right. Well, the from from the sidewalk over for a few feet there till you get to the Burger King property, and that's you're talking about all of that. Plus where the cabin is. Yeah. And then is there some more? I guess to the.
No, that's it. We don't own all the way to the creek. That's somebody else's property. That's private property. That goes along with the old bank building over there, and then of course Burger King's behind it, and so we don't own all the grass that you see there. So it is sort of a rectangular shaped space, but this is just a vision I have for it, and and present to council, and again they'll have to approve it all. We're not going to approve anything until we get see what the construction bid is.
But honestly, the cabin there is a historic thing, of course. But really, as I understand, about all it's used for is for people to see it at a distance and some storage.
You can't interact with it.
Yeah.
And it's tough to keep up. It really is. But what we want is more interactive space where people can get over there, sit, talk, hang out, have music, play games, and really have a space that people can use. And that's what we're looking at. So that was part of the beautification plan. And then also one of the things too that we talked about was our interstate interchanges. Mm-hmm. Particularly Hartman Drive, and also the 231, and the Sparta Pike one as well. The 109 one is a little tough to deal with, honestly, but we would like to beautify those with some with some more colorful plants out there, and maybe a big sign, a big nice really sign to welcome people into the city. To let people going down the interstate know, hey, this is Lebanon. Come here, and this is a great place to be. And so, as you go across the country, that some places do better at beautifying those entrances, and I want to do that here too. And so we have talked to TDOT about that, get their permission. But I just learned yesterday TDOT is really focused now. They would like to beautify more along the interstate as well, and so we might be able to get some grants for this. But when you're going down the interstate and you see an exit that looks decorative and nice, it really makes you want to get off there and say, let's see what this is about, and really show off who we are, and let people know, hey, this is Lebanon, we're a great city, and we want you to get off here and spend some money. So in this beautification plan, those are the two major things, is the square and also these interstate interchanges to give us a good impression of people who are traveling through here.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like you're not talking about spending an enormous amount of money.
Well, as you go down the list, I have some estimates here. When I talked about the historic street signs, that's $12,000. To start work on the street signs throughout the city is about $60,000. The square, our estimate on that is about $480,000. That's design, moving the cabin, constructing it, all those things. The interchanges, if we did those, they're about that would be about $430,000. But as I told the council, as we present this now, you can approve all of this, you can approve some of it, you don't have to approve any of it. It could be a phased in thing. But I do think that square is a priority. I really do, because so many people go there now. So it's something. It does cost money. Everything does. But I do think it's a really great investment. It's something we can do to really increase our standards and to show off ourselves and really create something for us as well. And I think that's important. And another thing too, I should mention. One of the things I've seen here in town too. If you go around town, go to Cumberland, go to some churches, they have wrapped their utility boxes and made them look more than just like a metal box. If you go to Cumberland, they've got athletics on theirs, and there's some churches that put their emblem on it. I would like to do that with some of our stuff, and maybe in our historic district put some historic photos on those boxes. Maybe around South Hartman, put some Lebanon High School stuff on there, out at Wilson Central, to beautify our city as well. And that doesn't really, that doesn't cost much either. So again, this is just a bunch of ideas that I've sort of collected over the past few years. I wanted to present to council and say, guys, I think to up our standards, this is another step that we can do.
All right, we've got about 2 minutes left this morning, and hopefully it's beginning to warm up. I don't know.
Well, I hope so. One more thing I should mention,
right.
It's been a big story lately is Walmart.
Yeah.
Some things are happening out there that we're not happy about. I just want everybody to know that today there's a meeting with Walmart representatives with LPD to talk about how they can improve out there and make things a lot better for our shoppers and our citizens. And then also yesterday there were some other Walmart folks who reached out to my office and to Sarah Hastings' office, say, hey, we like to talk to you guys too. So I just want everyone to know that we're working on that. Walmart is talking to us about what they can do out there. So this is an active discussion, and it is private property. So it's really up to them. But I'm really happy they're talking to us. They're open to dialogue, and we'll see how that goes forward. But I feel positive about it.
Yeah, I'm thinking of that old expression about nipping something in the bud, and I don't know, maybe it's a little bit late to call it that, but
yeah,
still, you'd like to do something before the problem gets worse than it is.
Absolutely, and it's it's their parking lot and their lights and frankly they need to fix it, and so. But the dialogue is going. We're talking today, so I'm thankful for that.
Rick, thanks for being with us as always. Rick Bell, our mayor of the city of Lebanon, and he'll be back at his regular time, and we'll be back at our regular time tomorrow. Hope you'll join us in. Till then, I wish you a wonderful day.